Hey everybody, it's Jonathan Miller with my best buddy over here, friend, wrestling analyst, Austin God Mode Honaker.
Hell yeah.
uh, we may just change his name every time we're on video. He's got uh, results here from
Ring of Honor,
Ring of
Supercard of Honor, and WWE WrestleMania 39 Night 1.
So we're going to discuss them. We both watched Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor from Friday night, which we actually watched it Saturday because we both work on Friday nights. But we watched it. Overall, I enjoyed it. He enjoyed it, and we watched both WWE Hall of Fame, which happened earlier this week too, and we watched WWE WrestleMania Night 1. We're going to post this here in a little bit. Hopefully, people will watch it and get a few. If you don't get to watch the shows and you want the results and want some just basic opinions, we don't go too far. We're not too hypercritical like the rest of the wrestling world out there on matches and what other professionals in the professional wrestling industry do, because we ourselves are professionals in the professional wrestling industry. I've got over 20 years of experience. Austin has about 5 or 10. Even though he hasn't been full-time in the wrestling industry, he has been in the wrestling industry a few years and is now looking for commentary roles and backstage roles. He just started a backstage interview role with Huntington Championship Wrestling out of Huntington, West Virginia. So there's some pictures out there. So if you see pictures of him all dressed up and like what you see, book him. He's looking for bookings on weekends, and we'll come do commentary and interviewing because he's learning, he's doing, and that's what you have to do in life is you learn and you go do it. And so, but with that being said, Austin, start the match rundown, and I'll jump in and give what I remember and saw, and take it away, man.
Okay. First, this is for Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. There was a pre-show and then there was a main show. Starting with the pre-show, the matches that happened in the pre-show. Match 1, it was Jeff Cobb versus Tracy Williams. Great match. It didn't go on very long, but what he expected a match like this with Jeff Cobb. But the ending to the match, Jeff Cobb went over with the Tour of the Islands.
And solid opener. That's all I've got to say about it. Nothing to get hung up on. Real solid opening match for the pre-show.
Okay, match 2. Excuse me. Match 2. It was Konosuke Takeshita versus Willie Mack. Phenomenal match, start to finish. They told a great story. The ending to the match, Konosuke Takeshita went over with the running knee strike.
Running knee strike. Always a good maneuver to put down people. It's when you don't put down a person with a head or knee strike that makes me go, I'm not too sure about that. But the way that finish was, all good, like the match. Yep. Awesome.
Yep, same here. Match 3, it was Willow Nightingale versus Miranda Alizé. Okay match. It was pretty good. But the ending to the match, Willow Nightingale went over with the sit-out gut-wrench powerbomb.
And what I have to say about Willow Nightingale is that woman has charisma out the yin-yang. If you cannot get behind Willow Nightingale, there's something wrong with you as a fan. She is just brings all that energy and passion into the ring, and you can tell. So, congratulations to Willow Nightingale with the win, and a really, really solid, super entertaining match.
For sure. And then match 4, the main event of the pre-show, it was Stu Grayson versus Slim J. Great match. They told a great story. The ending to the match, Stu Grayson went over with the Nightfall. Now, after the match, as the Dark Order, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson were celebrating Stu Grayson's victory, the Righteous, who were Dutch and Vincent, returned, and a stare down between the Dark Order and the Righteous occurred. So that right there, I'm sensing a feud between the Dark Order and the Righteous in Ring of Honor in the near future.
Match was good. The only thing that, to me, and this is just me alone, I don't think the match needed the 2 or 3 distractions it had, but I get it because there were people on the outside, and it did involve the finish, but is what it is. I'm not, like I said, not trying to be too picky about it. It was still a good match, and it got the wrestlers and the story where it needed to go to the eventual stare down at the end between Dark Order and the Righteous. So that's what I've got, and I'm sticking to it.
So, and then the main show, it was for match 1 for the main show, it was El Hijo del Vikingo versus Commander for the AAA Mega Title. That was that match. It was pretty much like a spot fest because what do you expect with Lucha Libre? It's all spots and everything, but the match really delivered for what it was. The ending to the match, El Hijo del Vikingo went over at the 630 Centon and retained the AAA Mega Title.
And the thing that I have to say about this match is something that I witnessed with Commander. I'm high up. I can't say enough things about Commander. Yeah, he may be a Lucha Libre's quote spot monkey or whatever you want to say, but the guy has ridiculous athletic ability considering he can run the ropes and then jump at you or jump or dive at you. So I'm putting that on my. I've got to keep. I gotta watch this guy. I've gotta. Yeah, I want to see more Commander. So I've got to like tune in to AEW and Ring of Honor and watch this guy some more because I'm like, who does that? Well, he does that. So that's where I am with that and the match and Commander.
Yeah, because Commander, he's really with AAA. He's just doing like shows with AEW and Ring of Honor and everything.
Working agreements are fun. Yeah. Forbidden doors are fun.
That is true. And the match 2, it was the Embassy, who are Brian Cage, Toa Leona, and Khan, versus Metallic, AR Fox, and Blake Christian. Metalik, sorry. Match 2, it was the Embassy, who are Brian Cage, Toa Leona, and Khan, versus Metalik, AR Fox, and Blake Christian for the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles. That match, it was great, but it was kind of quick, but it is what it is. But the ending of the match, the Embassy went over and retained the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles because Brian Cage got the pin on Metalik with the drill claw.
Good match. And like sometimes the 6-man tag matches are a little chaotic, and there's a few matches on this card that got a little bit chaotic, not like totally out of control. But there's some more. Some of these matches were very action based, and this was like one of the first ones on the card. And the big thing outside of the match, which we don't want to, we usually don't speculate too much. We don't want to go with rumors and stuff.
Right.
But there have been news reports that Brian Cage was going to possibly be leaving AEW Ring of Honor. But as of right now, due to the fact he is still a 6-man champion, either A, they got that worked out, or B, he's working match-by-match basis. And so, whatever the case may be with Brian Cage, we're just glad that he's still on TV or still doing whatever he wants, still doing what he wants to do. And more power to Ring of Honor and Brian Cage being able to continue to work together. So,
okay, match 3, it was Athena versus Yuka Sakazaki for the Ring of Honor Women's title. Great match for what it was. I enjoyed it. Yuka Sakazaki, she's great for her size, and Athena is doing great heel work as of late. But the ending to it, Athena went over and retained the Ring of Honor Women's title with a springboard O-face.
the thing that I went with in this match is excuse me, Yuka Sakazaki. Reminds me of Riho. She's got just a little bit wider build. Rio is just that broomstick slender girl who looks like she shouldn't even be wrestling. She looks like a freaking ballerina. Uh, wrestling and ballerinas. Oh boy! But my point. That was the comparison I was drawing. Is the similar style that she has with that style of wrestling. So it kind of reminded me of Riho instead of Yuki. But that's okay. Match was good, and it was there. It wasn't like super exciting, but it was exciting enough. It was good.
Yeah. Match 4, it was Samoa Joe versus Mark Briscoe for the Ring of Honor television title. Phenomenal match. Awesome from start to finish. They both told a great story. And Mark Briscoe dedicated the match to Jay Briscoe. But the ending to the match, Samoa Joe went over and retained the Ring of Honor television title with the Coquina Clutch.
The thing that I liked about this match is there was so much story going into it. Mm-hmm. The loss of Jay Briscoe, the fact that this is now the singles run that Mark's going to get, the fact that he was challenging for a singles title, and he hadn't beaten Samoa Joe. Mm-hmm. The biggest things, the story alone. If I was the booker, I would have booked it the other way around. I would have put Mark over.
Me too.
And went with the feel good moment and a few other things. But
Tony Khan had other plans.
There's some. I think the feel good moment for Mark's going to come later on. Because like Mark has stated, he right now may never be exclusively in a tag team ever again or do tag matches. He's not sure, but that overall, for this match, specifically this match, it was a grueling match. It was a physical match. And I think they both really pushed each other to the limit. And I mean, even though Samoa Joe is a pretty hard-nosed heel, he still, because of Mark Briscoe, did the code of honor both at the beginning and into the match. So that tells you how much respect, even as a heel, as the character heel, Samoa Joe is, what it meant to do that match with Mark Briscoe and the Briscoes. So amazing, totally amazing.
Okay, match 5, it was Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Daniel Garcia. Phenomenal match. Loved it from start to finish. Daniel Garcia, he's an up-and-comer, but he's really great. And Hiroshi Tanahashi, even though he's from New Japan, I still like him. Really talented, everything. But the ending to the match, Hiroshi Tanahashi went over with the High Fly Flow.
Good match. It was kind of a filler match between everything else. And it just solid, good match, good wrestling, good professional wrestling.
Okay. Match 6, it was a Reach for the Sky ladder match for the Ring of Honor tag team titles. The contestants in the match were the Kingdom, who are Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, the Lucha Brothers, who are Ray Phoenix and Pena El Cerro Miedo, Top Flight, who are Dante and Darius Martin, Aussie Open, who are Mark Fletcher and Kyle Davis, Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher, and LFI, who are Rush and Dralistico. Chaotic match, a lot of spots in it, brutal, I will say brutal because there's eventually something happened, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But the ending to the match, the Lucha Brothers went over and won the Ring of Honor tag team titles because Rey Fenix climbed the ladder and got both Ring of Honor tag team titles off the hanging point.
So to me, this was another one of those action-based matches. There was there were a lot of highlights in this match. Unbelievable match. The sheer fact that it's going, yeah, the titles are going from the Briscoe brothers to the Lucha brothers. I think that helps make that a feel good moment because it's another brother tag team that have become Ring of Honor tag team champions. I think that helps everyone heal from the loss of Jay Briscoe. I think, and up until that match, Mark along with his brother were still recognized as Ring of Honor tag team champions. And last night, also, this is one of the things we forgot to mention about this show. They debuted all new championship belts, so so I believe I guess Mark's going to get to keep those titles since they're now retired, and so the Lucha Brothers won the brand new Ring of Honor tag team championship belts.
Now after this match, FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler, and then Mark Briscoe, they all came out and embraced with the Lucha Brothers in their victory, and then the Kingdom also embraced with the Lucha Brothers as well, and honoring Jay Briscoe.
It was a really good feel-good moment. It was a really good, like I said, I think this goes a long way in honoring the memory of Jay Briscoe, but also yet moving forward with the Ring of Honor tag division.
Mm-hmm. Okay, match 7, it was Katsuyori Shibata versus Wheeler Yuta for the Ring of Honor Pure title.
And this is the first match you missed. Yep.
No, I didn't miss that match. I actually got to watch it.
No. You got the pick wrong.
Yeah, I got the pick wrong. Actually, that was not the first. It was it was.
I thought it was.
That was the television title match. That was what I got wrong.
Okay, so you were still a match. We're still two. What is that? 1 or 2 matches?
Yeah, this makes the second match I got wrong.
Oh, okay. So you have the television match.
Okay. Yeah. So match 7, it was Katsuyori Shibata versus Wheeler Yuta for the Ring of Honor Pure title. Awesome match. Loved it. Wheeler Yuta, he's the future of the business, in my opinion. Like he's going to be a pillar of AEW Ring of Honor. And Katsuyori Shibata, he's from New Japan, talented as ever. Love him too. But the ending to the match, Katsuyori Shibata went over and won the Ring of Honor Pure title with the penalty kick.
Like I referenced, Austin missed this one, and he also missed the TV title with Samoa Joe. This was also, even though I kind of played picks in the moment, I was leaning toward Yuta retaining too, but I can see why they went with
Shibata.
I was thinking Katsuyori.
Yeah, Katsuyori Shibata.
Okay. That name, for some reason, it doesn't roll off my tongue really well. Probably because it is Japanese, but that's the way I try and pronounce it. Just feels like I'm going to stutter over it. But the whole thing is he is called the Wrestler. I think that's part of the reason they went with him to drop the title too. And I don't know how long he's going to hold the title, but whatever match he's in is going to be a great match. So great title, great person to have the title on. So
100%. And then match 8, which was the main event, it was Claudio Castagnoli versus Eddie Kingston for the Ring of Honor World title. Great match. it had a lot of build up to it because they had 15 years of heated animosity towards each other, made it into the story. The ending of the match, Claudio Castagnoli went over and retained the Ring of Honor World title with a roll up. Now, after the match, Wheeler Yuta came out, and Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta, they were getting ready to gang up on Eddie Kingston, but Katsuyori Shibata came out to Eddie Kingston's aid, and then a stare down between all four men happened. Yuta and Claudio walked out, and then Kingston and Shibata were still in the ring. Eddie Kingston cut a promo and about went over the limit and everything, but ended up not doing it. So, yeah.
The biggest thing about this match was the way Eddie Kingston, quote, wrestled. He didn't do a lot of moves. It felt like he was just going to scratch and claw and scrap and punch and kick his way through Claudio. It didn't happen, but he did pull out a few wrestling moves, but it was just the way he was wrestling was, I kind of felt like he was a drunk wrestling. He just, it was ridiculous. I was like, I get why he's doing it, but I also was like, well, this match is different because just the way he was doing it. So that's what drove me in, was like, is this guy for real? Is he just really, I mean, I could literally show you with Austin's face, most of the time he was just doing something like this to Austin.
Yeah.
To Claudio, excuse me, but my he's right here. He's not Claudio. And literally, it was scratching and clawing, and I was like, holy crap.
Right.
But like I said, it drew me in, and I thought the match was really good. Even towards the end, the finish with the neutralizer and everything, and right now, it looks like they flip flopped the dynamic in AEW with the groups. Right now, the Elite seem to be more kind of the good guys, and the Blackpool Combat Club seem to be more heelish bad guys right now. So I'm interested in what's going on right now with Ring of Honor and the flip flop in AEW of the teams.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that is Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor 2023. We're getting ready to jump to the WWE stuff. So I'm probably gonna post this all as one video. So if you just want the WWE stuff, this is where going forward is going to be WWE and all the stuff there. So if you've watched it up to this point, you don't want to watch any of the WWE stuff, kick off the video now, drop my views, whatever you want to do. But I may also divide this and put part of it on like my WrestleLove channel, wrestle.love. You can find that put that in your domain, your browser, your Google Chrome, your Microsoft Edge, your Firefox browser, wrestle.love, and it'll pull up the YouTube channel that I have a lot of his commentary and Huntington Championship Wrestling and reposted content, which I've either grabbed and edited it into slow motion, or have filmed myself, or posted it and reposted it and linked up the account it's from. So, like I said, going forward right here we go. We're going into WWE stuff. So, like I said, if you don't want to watch this, kill it now.
Okay, now this is for WWE WrestleMania 39, Night 1. Okay. Match 1, it was Austin Theory versus John Cena for the WWE United States title. Great match. Told a great story. Pretty much like, because John Cena was Austin Theory's idol growing up, and was the reason why Austin Theory wanted to get into business and everything. It was pretty much the story of Austin Theory beating his hero, John Cena, but the ending to the match, Austin Theory went over and retained the WWE United States title with the A-Town down.
It was a good opening match. Austin Theory being the heel, cheated, and I liked the way he cheated, and not that it was a distraction, but it was he hit a low blow, and then hit the A-Town down. So it was like, so he immediately followed up to get the win. So that was sometimes they'll do a low blow and they won't follow it up, and somehow someone kicks out after a minute of laying around. But so solid opener, and it was entertaining for the opening of WrestleMania Night 1.
Match 2, it was the Street Profits, who were Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, versus Ricochet and Braun Strowman, versus the Viking Raiders, who are Eric and Ivar, versus Alpha Academy, who are Chad Gable and Otis, in a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. Great match. I loved it. And the ending to the match, the Street Profits went over because Angelo Dawkins pinned Ricochet with a small package. Now, what led to that, Ricochet was going for the 450 splash. Angelo Dawkins had his knees up, held Ricochet down. Montez Ford executed the frog splash to Ricochet's back. Then Angelo Dawkins rolled Ricochet up for a small package. 1, 2, 3. It was over.
I went with the underdogs in this match, Ricochet and Braun, but Street Profits are over. People love Dawkins and
Ford.
So yeah, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins. So yeah, they deserve every bit of credit they get for what they're doing and winning the match. Good match.
Match 3, it was Seth freaking Rollins versus Logan Paul. I gotta say, the build up to this match was phenomenal, and the match itself was phenomenal, but the ending to the match, Seth freaking Rollins went over with the curb stomp.
I have no problem with this. Logan Paul is not a full-time wrestler, though. Here's what I have to say about Logan Paul. Once again, this is not criticism. This is not mad. This is not being mad. And I think I've said this about Logan Paul almost every Logan Paul match he's had or been in. I was not a Logan Paul fan. I'm still not exactly a Logan Paul fan. I did not know Logan Paul existed and had 20 million people on his YouTube channel. I have less than 400 people on my YouTube channel. Doesn't matter. Numbers don't matter. Putting in the work and doing the work is what matters. He's done his homework. He knows how to do digital media. He knows how to do social media. And apparently, guess what? When the WWE said, look, we want you to wrestle, and they sent him to the Performance Center, he put in the work. He can wrestle. And as much as I still don't know who he is, and why he's so successful, I have to give him his flowers. I have to give him credit. He's hung with Roman Reigns. He's hung with The Miz, and now he's hanging and banging with Seth Rollins. And yes, the storytelling up to the match was unbelievably great. I love how they did a lot of the storytelling. As for Seth needed a win here because he lost to. I know this has been a while. Up until last summer, he was kind of losing to Cody, but now Cody tonight on WrestleMania Night 2 is going for the World Championship. So I think it's good that he was able to beat Logan Paul. So that's my take on Logan Paul. Once again, he's warming. He's growing on me. So I'm not mad about it. It's kind of like the meme. You mad, bro? No, I'm not. I live in reality, and I also live in the wrestling world of kayfabe. So I can see where he belongs there. Whether you agree or disagree with me or not, that's your opinion.
Yep.
I'm not mad. I'm here, and I'm like I said, he's growing on me, and it's kind of interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Match 4, it was Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky Lynch versus Damage Control, who are Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Great match. Loved it. Especially Trish Stratus and Lita being in the match, because I grew up watching Trish Stratus and Lita when they were full-time before they retired from WWE. They still got it. Like, I don't give a shit what people say. There's been a lot of people that have called Trish Stratus and Lita the modern day Mae Young and Fabulous Moolah, which, in a way, Mae Young and Fabulous Moolah were awesome at that. But Trish Stratus and Lita, they're not old yet. They still got it and everything. But the ending to the match, the ending to the match. Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky Lynch. Yeah, Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky Lynch went over because Becky Lynch pinned Bayley with a manhandle slam off the top rope.
The only thing I noticed about this match was it felt like they were moving just a bit fast, so it threw their timing off just a little bit. But I'm not sure if it was nerves or just maybe they needed to get through the match quicker. I'm not sure what it was, but other than those minor nuances, I thought it was a highly entertaining match, and I think it was a feel good moment for Lita and Becky and Trish to get to win. So I thought the match was great. It was totally amazing.
Okay. Match 5, it was Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. This match was a father versus son match. The build up to the match was awesome. It told a great story of the son getting out of his father's shadow and going to the dark side and everything. But the match delivered. Storytelling was great. Now, the ending to the match, Rey Mysterio went over with the 619 Frog Splash combination.
Storytelling, I agree with Austin. The build up and everything, and for them to be with Dominic being on Raw and Ray was on SmackDown because they moved him to SmackDown right after Dominic turned, and so they kept them away. So the way they kept the story going was they would do videos on social media through YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, and have Dominic showing up at places like showing up for Christmas and showing up for Thanksgiving and showing up for Valentine's Day dinner in New York or wherever they were. But they kept it going, and man, it was just, if you didn't get into it, I don't know what to tell you. I was into it. Austin was into it. So, and Ray picks up the win. Gets some avenges what his son has been doing to him, calling him a deadbeat dad and all of that. And it was a feel good Mysterio moment, and definitely feel good since, like I said, he's now a WWE Hall of Famer, and we're just going to mention the Hall of Fame probably at the end of this real quick. But let's keep going. Let's keep rolling.
Okay. Match 6, it was Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown, the WWE SmackDown Women's title. Phenomenal match. They told a great story. Charlotte Flair was the champion in this match. Rhea Ripley was the challenger in this match. Now the ending to it, Rhea Ripley went over and won the WWE SmackDown Women's title with the ribtide off the top rope.
All right, this This has been mentioned on Busted Open Radio and a few other places in the wrestling media world. And I'm on board with what they were saying, too. Austin may not have heard this, or if he has, he can give you his take on it. Okay, so Rhea won the Royal Rumble as a heel. But the dynamic, for whatever reason, whenever they started telling the story between Rhea and Charlotte, somehow the booking and stuff flip-flopped a little bit. And no one's really sure why. So her and Judgment Day are giant, nasty heels. But outside of Judgment Day, with the story with Charlotte and Rhea, it somehow flip-flopped. So when they started building it up, it looked like, and this is one of the reasons if you go and watch the match that we're talking about, most of the time the fans were cheering Rhea and booing Charlotte, which up until this story, Charlotte had come back and was an uber babyface. And Rhea's been uber heel. But just this program alone, it flip-flopped. And we're not sure why. We're not sure if... And now, here's my question. Is Judgment Day, the rest of Judgment Day, going to go over to SmackDown with Rhea? What's going to happen there? Because she was a Raw superstar. So, is she going to be floating back and forth because she's with that group? What's going to happen? I'm now curious to that dynamic now. But, like I said, the strangest part of this story is they flipped the roles when most of the time she's been hanging out with Dominic, and Dominic is getting had been getting ridiculous heat. I mean, out of this world, out of this galaxy, out of this universe type of heat, and no one really can make sense of how this happened and why it kind of got flipped with Rhea and Charlotte. So that may be the strangest thing in the match, in the storytelling. Do I think the right person won? Yeah, because Rhea's hot. Rhea is so hot right now. I mean in every sense of the word. Yeah. I mean, crowds behind her, whether she's good or bad. She looks good. She physically she's got charisma. I mean, it's all. She checks all the boxes right now. So for her to win and become champion, oh heck yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out as her run as champion, and where things go with Judgment Day and the group itself. Since you had Dom lose, Rhea win, so it's going to be interesting following WrestleMania. And plus, we still have, this is being recorded in between night 1 and night 2, so night 2 is going to be the night, and but you're getting the good stuff now. So, what we got? The main event?
No, we got
we got the Miz.
Yeah, we got that. Yeah, match 7. It was Pat McAfee versus the Miz
on the spot.
On the spot, it was an impromptu match. It was not scheduled to happen, but how it happened, the Miz and Snoop Dogg were out in the ring, getting ready for the main event, getting ready to get the main event going and everything. But the Miz talked about how he posted on Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, Instagram, and all this other social media crap, saying that he issued an open challenge. Well, Pat McAfee came out, and Pat McAfee accepted the challenge. The Miz didn't want to fight him, but Snoop Dogg ended up making the match anyway.
He accepted the challenge that was non-existent because he says, you didn't post that. And then he got a tiny balls chant started.
Yeah, then Snoop Dogg ended up making the match happen. But that was pretty much a squash match because the Miz didn't get no offense. Pat McAfee got all the offense. But the ending to the match, Pat McAfee went over with the punt kick.
Yep, I like the match. And Pat McAfee is another part-time performer, but he's also put in the work, just like Logan Paul. I can't. And he seems to be freaking natural. More even he looks almost. Yeah, I know, Kitty. Yeah, my dad's cat is wanting some attention a little bit. So there's the cat. There's the cat making a run in on us.
Yep. Make a
Anyways,
cameo.
a little cameo, cat cameo by Austin and Jonathan right here. Anyways, uh, Pat McAfee has put in the work just like Logan Paul. So I'm once again at first I wasn't sure about him, even though I knew who he was. I wasn't a big football fan, but I heard about him through other different other channels like radio and media. And then he started his Pat McAfee show covering sports, and he's done it. He's done his work. So I'm not knocking either one of them. They show up, they do their work, and you get paid for it. And I hope to be the same someday. Be able to be like, I do my work, you do yours.
Yep. Okay, and match 8, which was the main event.
The main event of night 1.
Yep, and it was Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos, who are Jimmy and Jey Uso for the WWE Undisputed Tag Team titles. Phenomenal match. They told a great story. It pretty much was telling the story of Sami Zayn being in the bloodline, then getting kicked out of the bloodline, then trying to reunite with Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens wouldn't oblige. But then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn finally coexisted and became a team again. And the match delivered, told a great story and everything, because the build-up was great, the match was great, but the ending to it, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens went over and won the WWE Undisputed Tag Team titles, because Sami Zayn pinned Jey Uso, but Sami Zayn pinned Jey Uso with not one haluva kick, not 2 haluva kicks, but 3 haluva kicks.
The big exclamation point in this match is, I believe, Sami Zayn is the first and only person I've seen kick out of the 1D, the tag team finisher from
Usos.
The Usos, which
formerly the Dudleys.
You just get they didn't morph in. The Usos didn't morph into the Dudleys. Okay, I know what you just said.
Yeah, because it was the Dudleys and then the Usos. It's now their finisher.
So the Team 3D, aka the Dudley Boys, used to use the same move, and it was called the 3D. And so the Usos eventually started using it during this tag run, because their finish used to be the double splash. They used that, and then they also used the 1D and a few other things as finishers. Their main finisher within the last year has been the 1D, one and done. But like I said, the first person I think to ever kick out of that was Sami Zayn, and I have to go back and look. I don't think anyone else has kicked out of that, and it was unbelievable to see, because it was like okay, what are the Usos going to have to do to beat these guys? And then because they had taken out Kevin Owens at the time, Owens got put through a table, and didn't look like he was going to make it back in to make any saves or anything. And sure enough, Sammy had the reserve tank kick in and was able to kick out and keep the match alive. And then eventually Kevin recovered, and we went from it set up the tag. Kevin came in, got the advantage. They brawled. One of them went to the outside, one of them was in the inside. There was a stunner, and then the 3 haluva kicks, and it was the cherry on top of night 1. It was amazing to see, and the storytelling ridiculous. The match ridiculous. Everything just totally. If you're not a wrestling fan, if you're not satisfied with this, I don't know what to tell you. Stop watching wrestling. Go watch ballet. Go to the opera. Go to the museum. Go do something. Go play pickleball. Go do something else other than be a wrestling fan, because you just don't get it.
Yep.
Finally, that was WrestleMania Night 1, Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor 2023. We got one more thing to mention, and that was the WWE Hall of Fame.
Okay, the WWE Hall of Fame, the inductees were Rey Mysterio, The Great Muta, Stacy Keibler, Andy Kaufman, and Tim White, who was for the Warrior, who was the Warrior Award recipient. Now, Mick Foley and Tori Wilson, they inducted Stacy Keibler. They done great introductions, told their stories of Stacy and how their friendship started and everything. Then Stacy came out and talked about her career and how she was a fan and everything, and she told a great speech. Then Jerry the King Lawler, and the Mouth of the South Jimmy Hart, they inducted Andy Kaufman. Well, Jerry Lawler could not be there in person because he's recovering from a stroke, so Jimmy Hart was there in person, and well, Jerry Lawler told his story during the video, but then Jimmy Hart told his stories, and then introduced Andy Kaufman's brother, sister, daughter, and granddaughter. They all came out, and his granddaughter was not talking the whole time, but his brother, his sister, and his daughter all made speeches in honor of him, and that was a great speech. Andy Kaufman, he's missed by the wrestling industry to this day. He's very passionate. I was a fan of him because of his love for the business and how great of a heel he was back in the day and everything. Well, okay. The third inductee was, let me think. The Great Muta was the third inductee. The Nature Boy Ric Flair inducted the Great Muta. Ric Flair made a great speech of introduction and everything, telling about their times together and everything, and then introduced the Great Muta. Well, the Great Muta came out, made his speech, didn't talk very long because he couldn't speak English, but it was still well deserved that he got inducted in the Hall of Fame. Okay. The fourth inductee was Tim White, who was a part of the Warrior Award recipient. He was inducted by the APA, Ron Simmons / Farouk, and JBL / Bradshaw. They came out, told their stories and everything of Tim White. Then they introduced Tim White's brothers, Tom and Pat White. Well, they came out. Tom held the award while Pat talked and everything, and then that was a great speech as well. But Tim White, he was one of the best referees in the business. He was one of my all-time favorite referees, and he's missed by the wrestling business to this day as well as Andy Kaufman. And then last inductee was Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was inducted by Conan. Well, Conan came out, told about Rey Mysterio, about how he got his start and how they've been travel buddies and best friends for years and everything. And then introduced Rey Mysterio, and then Rey Mysterio came out, talked about his career, how he started, how he went to WCW, ECW, AAA, WWE, and mentioned a lot of names that he has been, who he's met in the business, like Eddie Guerrero, the late great Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Kurt Angle, JBL, Randy Orton, John Cena, you name it. That was a great speech as well. Like, this whole Hall of Fame, it was a great class this year. And all five inductees were well deserved of it.
Good Hall of Fame. I think Austin sums it up well. It was a great class. I think, honestly, the two best speeches were Stacy and Ray, and both of us, I think everyone still has the hots for Stacy Keibler, including us.
Yep, we do.
Just get that out of the way. If Stacy Keibler is just, you can tell what type of person she is just by the smile, the glow, the energy she brings. So it's easy to just fall in love with that woman, no matter what. So that's all I'm going to say about that. We love her, and I know she loves her fans and people that have supported her, and so we're huge supporters of Stacy Keibler and everything she did in wrestling, and everything she's done outside of wrestling. And like we both said, her husband is one lucky husband.
Yes, he is.
So, yeah, that's been our video for Austin Honaker, God Mode Honaker.
Yep.
And myself, Jonathan John Von Miller, the wrestling analyst. We hope you've enjoyed this review of Supercard of Honor, WrestleMania Night 1, and the Hall of Fame. Until next time, we'll see you
Later.
down the road.
We will catch your asses. My name is Austin Honaker. His name is Jonathan Miller, and we will catch your asses down the road.